Don't put me in it.
I will try to stay out myself because I'm not looking very nice today. So okay, let's
Okay.
go, Dave.
Right, so this is the laser room and 3D printing. So we've got ready for being bagged up customer orders where we've been laser cutting plastics and so on.
Yeah, that was one major thing a couple of years ago when I was ordering a bit more regular at that time.
Yeah.
That when you started to stock the bases.
Yeah. This is our 3D printing. So these will be coming out. So we got like an armoured train. And that's going to be coming out soon.
And those are BTRs?
Yeah, they're already in production and out, but it shows you that's how we get the master and then put it into a little temp mould and cast it up as a metal figure.
Yeah, one of my friends, Mark Ferrimond, he is very, very big on 3D printing now.
I think individually, long as it takes so long, that's why as a company it wouldn't work.
Yeah.
Because for what you can charge for like a 3D printed vehicle, it would take, you'd probably be able to do about 10 in one go, but it'd take 2 or 3 hours, and if you get a misprint on it.
Yeah, that's the big thing, he says. It's not the resin per se, it is the electricity that it costs.
Yeah.
So when you, especially when you do bigger ones, you're printing 10, 12 and more hours.
Yeah.
And then at some point, if you have, like you said, a misprint,
that's 10, 12 hours down there.
Yep.
Tubes. Yeah.
No, it's exactly what you are doing here is the creating the masters.
Yeah.
Yeah. Molding them and then producing them in either metal or resin, where things are gonna go commercially.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, you can see that we got. Well, these where we've cast them up, and we basically have a time it and the amount of material used, so we can cost it. So we're not charging too much, and also not charging too little. So
yeah, you don't lose money on it.
Yeah. Theoretically, this is our bait room or canteen area, but we've got all the books stored.
Yeah, that is something new.
Yes.
That I haven't even seen. Last time I checked on the website, they were not on yet.
No.
Yeah, but there's definitely a couple of books that I'm gonna get. I just bought two that you might find interesting. One about Vietnam,
Right.
called The Perfect War by
Right.
Gibson.
Yeah.
And the other one, don't recall the name immediately. Oh yeah, Enduring the Whirlwind.
Right.
From the German perspective, Operation Barbarossa.
Oh, right. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. I've read. I tell you which one I've just recently read. Is these. By Herbert Bayer, who's the Chief of Staff.
Yeah.
Of the 12th SS. It's interesting between the first one, where there's optimism before D-Day and even during D-Day.
Yeah.
But when you get to the second one, where they push back to the border and they do the Battle of the Bulge,
Very much different.
very much different, and also that they've carried out. Oh, this is Mike. This
I
is my
won't
brother.
think because depends
Hello.
on how we're doing. All right.
That's my brother.
No worries.
Dog's body caster.
Yeah, where they've basically attacked, and they haven't got the resources to attack.
That's one big thing. I was having this discussion with Mark that I just said, and I said even during Case Blue, the Germans experienced a shortage, especially oil.
Yes.
So even dispatch riders on their motorcycles, they didn't have the fuel. So the commanding officers literally told them, steal it. Well, if you get caught, you get shot, but steal it. And dispatch riders is probably the last people you want to cut off from supplies.
Yeah.
So now there is a lot of recent research and videos about the German supply situation, and I said yesterday the Quartermaster General, I don't know what he did during Case Blue, giving Army Group Center the replacements that Army Group South would have needed.
Yeah.
So,
But also what was interesting, because I was reading the Battle of the Bulge from the German perspective, was that they didn't actually Bastogne, they didn't actually isolate it. There was still a corridor into it. So all this American myth about holding out and not surrendering, they had a supply line into the place. All right, it was under fire, but they still had a supply line in.
it's I think by I can't say the exact time, and it was either it was one of the field marshals when he reported back to the OKW, the Oberkommando der Wehrmacht, that they lost a battle or something, and I think it was Halder who said, "Well, what can we do?" And he said, "End the war, you bloody idiot."
Yeah. Right. Through.
And this is where the magic happens.
Yes. So this is the casting floor. So the 4 casting stations and all the production molds on the racks.
So just to give people a perspective how many molds there are.
Thousands, a couple of 2,000 or 3,000.
Well, Leon says there's over 2,000 individual codes.
No,
That
there's more than that.
there's
5,000.
definitely more.
Yeah, there's about 5,000, I think. 2,000, yeah. No, Jack's just taken them through, but regular orders stock. All the machines are slightly different because I built them at different times with whatever material I could get my hands on to save money.
Well, it's also the thing. What is the machine supposed to do? Yeah. So it's tailored to the actual process that you are having.
There we go. I made the machines as basic as possible with swing arms with counterweights on, because if there's a problem I can easily repair them.
Yeah.
So it's and the machines wouldn't be out of action too long.
And this is what one of the molds looks like inside.
Yeah, that's one of the master molds.
So, and those knobs that you see here, they fit in the
locate.
holes here,
Yeah.
so they lock up,
Yeah.
and you don't get too many miscasts.
That's right. There we go, there's the setup blade, you know, the psyops
Yeah.
with the speakers.
World exclusive.
Yeah.
These are coming out soon. Chinese psychological warfare from the Korean War.
Yeah. Yeah, this is my workstation, so it's a bit messy.
And just one thing, how detailed they are. You can see there's people in there. Yeah?
Yeah. Oh, this is my stuff. This is my own pet venture. That's Danish medical stuff for 1848.
Uh-huh.
So basically got the doctor, orderly, stretcher bearers. There we go. Schleswig-Holstein standard bearer, company standard bearer. All the master molds. So these are all master molds.
So just for me to understand, what is the difference between a master mold and a production mold?
Right. The master mold, a bit like the one you photographed, will all have, say, 30 or 40 individual figures in. Like this one, for example. There we go. So that's got all individual figures in. Mm-hmm. So when we cast off this, there'll be, say, 4 or 5 production moulds made from the figures from this, and when the production mould wears out, we keep the figures that we've made to the production mould, but if we haven't, we can go back to the master mould to cast off more figures and make another production mould. Mm-hmm. So these don't get
worn out
or damaged, because you'll see a few companies cast off their master moulds and ruin the range of figures. So at the moment I'm doing a low temp in that mould. That machine I built myself, that one we bought in. The jack, there was a problem on the jack, so we've sent it back to the company we bought it from to repair, because the jack's only couple of months old and it wouldn't hold pressure, so we've sent it back to get repaired. Theoretically it should be back this week. Well, it should have been back last week.
Just an idea, how much does one of these machines cost? What is the value of those machines roundabout? That
cost, so about 10 years ago, I think £5,500–6,000.
Mm-hmm.
The mould cans, these, you're looking at £700–800. Yeah, they're expensive. Let's say this one I built 20 plus years ago, probably longer. Doesn't look as pretty as that one, but it does the same job.
What beauty
and
is secondary.
Yeah, it's over-engineered. is the word I call that. So these are ready all to come out, which is what you've just seen there with the master mould. That's all the artillery for the Korean War, for all the different nations. We just didn't have the masters of the 12.7 AA gun and the anti-tank rifles.
Mm-hmm.
So to finish off the North Koreans, Chinese, and summer and winter. So that's what you saw there when you photographed that mould.
Yep.
So
that's another thing that I have seen. Then there is for example, in the World War II, the German range. There is the paratroopers, there is the early war, late war, there is Panzer Grenadiers, there is in winter gear, there is Afrika Corps. So any kind of theater has its own dedicated masters and miniature.
So at the moment, I'm making a mould. Leon passes that with, there we go, the extra figures, I think, for the American War of, I think the American War of Independence masters. So I'll be doing these tomorrow. This rack contains old molds. We keep them for 5 or 6 years in case people want the casting off the molds, and then we destroy them. We basically cut the molds in half on this, so they can't be used.
Just in weight, how much casting metal do you go through in your average month?
150 to 200 kilos a month. I don't know how much MDF we go through, but that's significant as well. And presumably the resin for the 3D printing.
Yeah. So you can all imagine how much material a manufacturer like Pendraken goes through in a year and needs to have it at hand, or else we don't get our figures. And when you scale that up, there is intensive warehousing to be done in producing our toys.
Also, because we're a business, we pay for things like electricity. Because a lot of figure companies work from the garage at home, so they're paying domestic rates for electricity. Because we're commercial rates, we're probably paying double. And also we got commercial rates on this as well.
And there is no price cap.
No.
Or a price guarantee for the commercial for the industry.
No, that's right.
And on top of that, like you said, we pay almost said poll tax. No, we pay council tax.
Yeah.
And down here in England, first of all, do you have to pay for water here, water charge, or is that in the council tax? No, it's separate.
No, it's separate.
That's separate?
We've got to pay for, because it's commercial, we've got to pay, I think it's probably double, because we've got to pay for the upkeep of the sewage and drains, which you don't do in a domestic property.
No, we only pay water and sewage charge. It's in the council tax.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And like you said, on top of that, the energy cost, which has gone up significantly. Yeah. So there is all the more reason to support your local businesses. Hint, hint.
Plus the government's. Because this is a small business unit.
Yeah.
We didn't pay commercial rates because we were small, but that's changed a couple of months back. Now all businesses have got to pay, and the government, and we've had the local council out to measure the workshop, for charging
Yeah.
us, and we're looking at an extra 5,000 or 6,000 in rate.
Yeah. So do keep ordering. Now it's one thing. I know maybe that's something the people watching these videos will fast forward, but over the last, I talked to Leon about this last night in the car,
Yeah.
and I said over the last couple of years, Brexit, pandemic, cost of living crisis, a lot of people and manufacturers in the miniature industry have just said, I'm packing it up. Yeah. So it's really unfortunate, especially because this is, for me as a German, this is possibly the most British hobby that I can think of.
Yeah.
So it should be in the council's and government's interest. Please do listen to keep the small businesses that make up the economy, that employ the people, that pay a significant amount of the taxes in this country.
Yeah, we along with every other manufacturer, Wargames figure company, our sales to Europe once Brexit came through just fell through the floor.
Yeah.
They just stopped. Well, basically, because the government bad deal.
Well, and you will still have people complaining about these things where the solution is so simple.
Yeah, rejoin Europe.
Even if you don't want to go that far, there was absolutely no reason and no sense in saying we don't want to be part of the customs and union and the market.
Right.
So that would solve all the problems, or a lot of the problems that we experienced here. And I have seen it, fun fact from real life. When I came back in July 2021, a pack of noodles, just normal pasta in your irregular Sainsbury, costed 55p. It went up to 70p, and recently, as of, let's say, 3 or 6 months, 95p.
Yeah.
When I left in 2016, it was 45p regular price. So we are talking about more than double the cost. And especially people, or the majority of people are not making 40,000 a year. And right. With the cost of living already, that is something, we all experience it. And so much more, it would make sense that you keep up something that is, like I said, so uniquely and so British. That
Well, look at the Antwerp show.
Yeah.
All British traders stopped going because of the problems of getting across, and the customs
getting it across and getting it back in the country.
Yeah.
So
because to enter France, if you're going doing the crisis show, you would have to give them an itemised list of everything you're
that
taking
you have.
And the French could just say, we want to check to make sure you're not lying. So we'd have to take everything out and they would check it. Because you have to itemise what's for sale and what's for display. Yeah. Then you go to the show, you sell the figures. You've then got to pay the VAT, the tax on those figures before you leave. Now, do you pay it in Belgium? Or do you pay it in France as you leave the country? And again, you got the same problem. They may say,
we want to check what you still have.
What you still have, and make sure you're not lying. So again, they could ask you to take everything out the vehicle to make sure it checks with the sales.
Yeah.
No,
this kind of process, so that people see it's. We are complaining that we have to show the passport gets stamped, but imagine you have this amount of stock going to a show, selling some of it, and you have to literally list every single item, code and number, how many you have, when you go in and out. That's not doable unless you are really the whale in the pond, and you have an automatic stock tracking solution that you can do that. And even then, the authorities can always say, well, I'm going to count. So, yeah. Again, hint, hint. There is absolutely an incentive to make it easier for our British businesses. I say that again, I say that as a German, for our British businesses to do business with the rest of the world. It's not up to them to accommodate us. Yeah.
I think that's it. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, there's the games room. We'll have to get the keys for that.
There's another games room. Thanks.
Find the key. Right, we go back this way.
Another thing that's typically British, and it's from Salute.
Yep. There we go.
Welcome to the Pendraken Games Room.
Yes. We've got to basically make use of the space we've got to generate income. Alright, we only get a few of them booked per year, but it was dead space until we took the walls out and basically turned it into a games room.
Yeah, I mean, at some point you have enough storage.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the question, like you said, what do you do with that? And the next logical expansion is, yeah, let's build a gaming room. And yeah, there's 4 large tables.
Yeah.
And you can see they are mobile.
Mobile, so we can put them together and create larger.
And just quickly showing you some of the current rule sets Pendraken is selling. So one thing I don't see here, and maybe that's a silly question, but you also have Future War Commander.
Yeah.
And that is the only one of the Commander series that has not yet been updated.
Because we happen to get, we're currently producing at the moment masters. We've got vehicles, but we need a range of different future war type figures to go with them. So once we've got those sorted, we're working through it, then we will, when we release the rules, we'll have 3 or 4 armies to go with them.
Yeah.
Because it's pointless releasing it without having the backup of actual...
Yeah, of actual miniatures to support it.
That's right, to support the rules.
While it is a game, it does make the world go round. Yeah, that is the Pendraken production, and in the next video I am going through the shop space.